Welcome to the video on creating letterhead. In this lesson we're going to be learning how to make something that looks like this, but you'll also be able to get really creative and do your own thing on this one, so it should be fun. To start out this one, we're not going to save the file or put a header on because the content contains your name, so just go ahead and start with a blank unsaved file. And the first thing that we're going to do is add this colored rectangle at the top of your screen. So to do that, you're going to go to Insert Shapes, and you can use a 90-degree angle rectangle or rounded. Really can use anything you want. I like the rounded one. You get a crosshairs when you come on your screen, and you don't want to be on the very edge of the page, but close to it. And you just drag and draw your shape. Once you have that shape drawn and it's selected with the handles around it, you're going to get a new Drawing Tools Format tab that comes up. First thing I want to do is change the inside of my shape, or my shape fill. So I can hover and choose different colors. There's a faint blue border around this that I don't want, so I can go to Shape Outline. I can either tell it I don't want an outline, or I can choose a different color, and I can also choose the weight. Once I have my shape the way I want it, I can add some effects, like Bevel, kind of makes it look 3D and pop out of the page. Or you could do some kind of a glow or a reflection. If you do a reflection, you don't want one that goes really far down, or it's going to get in the way of your text. So choose one of these options, not something like this. The next thing I need to do is add my name to this shape. So as you can see here, we're just going to be putting from the desk of and then our own name to make this personalized. So with the shape selected, you just right click, add text, and then type that in there. Word did a reverse text on this, meaning that my background was darker, so it decided to put in white text. I don't really want that white. So I'm going to select it and go back to my Home tab where all my font options are, and then I can change that to dark green. While I'm here, I'm also going to change this to a different font style and use my Grow Font tool to make that bigger. Actually, I think I want this black. Okay, next we're going to go in and get some pictures to put here at the top. And again, mine's girly because I'm a girl, but you can do anything you want on here as long as it's school appropriate. So to get pictures, you go to Insert. This option here lets you pull in pictures from an actual file, from your phone or from somewhere on your computer. Online Pictures lets you go out onto the internet to find clip art and other photos. So I'm going to insert pictures from clip art. I'm just going to go to theoffice.com and just search for flowers. And this pulls up a lot of different options. So maybe I want this one. Click Insert. And again, don't freak out when this comes in really big on your screen, and don't be trying to move it around until you change your text wrap. You can use this little pop-up tool here that comes up, or you can come up to your ribbon. For this assignment, you want to choose text wrap in front of text because we're actually going to be pulling this graphic up and putting it on top of your shape. I'm just going to size that down a little bit. So I don't really like the way that looks because it has a white background and it just doesn't look good. It looks sloppy. So I want to remove the background from this image before I move it up there. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger and zoom in a little bit, so that's larger view. And then on my Picture Tools format, I have a Remove Background option. When I click that, it's going to try to guess which parts of that picture I want taken out. I only want the white parts taken out. It's colored in pink, some of the edges that I actually want to retain with the picture. So I can just take these handles and drag out to enlarge the area of my picture. Okay, that looks pretty good. I still have one little spot here that I want to count as background. I want to remove that. So I can come up here, mark areas to remove, and just click on that little piece right there to tell it I want that removed. I've got a couple other little tiny ones. So this is why it's important to zoom in really close as you do this. If there had been some area that I wanted to keep, for example, if this stem had not cleared out, I could mark areas to keep and I could come in and click on that. Once you have it exactly the way you want, you can choose to keep changes. And now when I come back, that's going to look a lot better when I move that on top of my shape. So I'm going to go ahead and size that down. Remember to just use your corner handles to keep your proportions in place. That's a good size. I also want to rotate this picture. So at the top of it, I have a curved arrow. When I hover, I want to get the same curved arrow, and then I can just swivel that around and move it into place. I want to put one of these on the other side. The easiest way to do that is going to be to copy this picture. So while I'm clicked on it, I'm just going to hold down the Control key and tap the C key on my keyboard, and then Control and V as in Victor. Now I have two flowers, so I'm going to slide this other one over here. And I want it to actually be flipped or a mirror image. So with it selected, I can use this tool, and I'm going to flip it horizontally so it's facing the other way. And then you can go ahead and just move those in however you want them. So I have the graphic element now finished on my letterhead. The next thing that I want to add is a line that contains my contact information. This is really important when you're sending out letters for colleges or jobs. You want to have your personal information up at the top, so it's really easy for people to find your information to call you. So if you remember from our first lesson, I can move my insertion point right here by just pointing and double clicking. And then I'm going to hit enter once. Before I start typing anything, I'm going to go into my line spacing options, change to single space, and also change to remove space after paragraph. Then I want my font to be the same as what I used up here. So I'm going to go back and change to that, and I want that to be 12. And then I'm going to go ahead and start typing in my address. Can't type today. Where's my comma? Alright, so there's my address. I want my phone number next, but I want something to separate my address from my phone number. I want some kind of a symbol. So I'm going to go into Insert Symbol, More Symbols, and if you pull this down, you're gonna have a bunch of fonts at the top, but if you pull it down to one of these wingdings groups, there's a lot of different types of symbols that you can use. So as I scroll through this, there's a flower that I really like. So I'm going to insert that and close. Make sure you're spacing on either side of your symbol. Put my phone number in, space, go back to symbol, And because I used the flower last time, it's still there as an option. And the last thing I'm going to put is my email address. Now before you hit enter, you're going to want to just stay on this line, and we want to add a line underneath like this. And we're going to do that by just using our borders tool. So just make sure you're somewhere in that line. Go back to home. On your borders tool, you just want a bottom border. Now you're not going to want to enter right here because it's going to add a hypertext link to your email, and it's also going to move your border down. So I'm just going to Control Z to undo that. You want to get down here to put a date in, but you're going to want to just use the point and click method. So make sure your graphic is showing left justified lines, and then just double click. You're not going to want the body of your letter to be in this fancy cute font. You're going to want to change it back to Times New Roman. Just like we did with our research papers, you want a serif font that's easy to read. Make sure that's 12 point, and then you're going to put in the date. To insert the current date, you're going to go to Insert, and then up on your ribbon you have a calendar icon. And you want to choose the format of month, day, comma, year. And then make sure that the box to update automatically is checked. That way, every time you open this template to type a letter, you don't have to wonder about what date it is. It's already changed for you. After the date, you're going to want to hit enter 4 times. And then you'll be ready to start typing your letter. We're going to save this file differently from what we've done in the past. This will be saved as a template. Saving something as a template preserves the formatting so that it doesn't get changed as you're using the template. For example, if I were going to type a letter tomorrow to Mrs. Goodrich, I would want to be able to open this template, type the letter, and save the letter, but keep this template clean to be used over and over again. So when you're getting ready to save this, you're going to want to go to File, Save, and we just want to save it in our network folder. I'll be putting it on my desktop. I want to call this my letterhead. Instead of the Word document default, I want to save this as a template. Right here. And save. Now I want to show you how a template is different from just a regular Word document. So if I go into where I saved this, the icon looks a little bit different, and when I open it, notice that it's not showing letterhead, it's showing document 1. So it's opened the template, but as a brand new document. So now I can start typing my letter, and it's not going to affect that template. When I go to save it, it doesn't save on top of the template. It prompts me just like it's a new document to go in and give it a name. So what if you need to make a change to your template? When you open it, it's not allowing changes to the template, it's making it as a new document. So if I want to make changes, instead of double clicking to open, I right click and open. And now this has opened the actual template. So if I make changes, save it, and then each time I open it, it's going to keep those changes. So that concludes our tutorial on how to make a letterhead. Be really creative, have fun with this, and in the next lesson you'll be using your letterhead template to create some actual letterhead. Good luck and have a great day.